Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you pay attention to the best thing you hear, skim over the details, and ignore anything that may be harmful. With that, let's get today's video started. Today's video, I want to explore the story of Satan according to the Quran. We'll be going over ayat from Surah Al-Hijr, or chapter 15 in the Quran. And it entails the whole story of Iblis, or Satan, from the beginning to the end, or parts of it. And today we'll take the skeleton of that story, and we could add more to it in future videos. The story of Satan. Before Adam was created, God created the jinn, and He made them from fire, and later on He made Adam from dirt. In Surah Al-Hijr, ayah 26 to 27, it reads, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ مِنْ حَمَإٍ مَسْنُونٍ وَالْجَانُ خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ مِنْ نَارِ السَّمُومِ. Indeed, we created man from sounding clay, molded from black mud. As for the jinn, we created them earlier from smokeless fire. Essentially, this tells us that before Adam was created, God had created the jinn, and they are made from fire, and Adam is made from dirt. That may be a little bit complicated. What do you mean by fire? What do you mean by dirt? We could understand it that the jinn are non-material, while Adam is a physical and a material being. And that's what we get from it. Adam, physical, jinn, non-physical. We split the story of Satan into 5 parts, starting with the news, creating a physical man. In verse 28, God says, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي خَالِقٌ بَشَرًا مِّن صَلْصَالٍ مِّنْ حَمَإٍ مَسْنُونٍ. And when your Lord said to the angels, I'm going to create a human being from sounding clay, molded from black mud. God said to the angels the news that He is creating a physical human made from dirt. That is it in simple terms. I might need to take a whole other video to discuss what does that actually mean. What does it mean when God says He is creating a creature, a human, from dirt? There is a true saying on how the human is made, and we'll let that for another video. The command, a new purpose. In the next 2 ayah, God says, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. And when I have fashioned him, and had a spirit of my own breathed into him, fall down in prostration to him. Then the angels submitted, all of them together. When God commanded the angels to prostrate to Adam, it doesn't just mean to physically bow down. Some of the angels now are going to revolve around Adam, and their purpose would be taking care or working around Adam. This would require again another episode, but for example, we have angels that write everything we do. We have angels that are tasked with giving us the souls and taking them away. We have angels that are tasked with greeting us in heaven. And there's angels that are tasked with punishing those of us that goes to hell. So now, after Adam was created, a section of angels are now tasked with revolving and working around Adam. The arrogance, a primordial sin. In the next ayat, from 31 to 33 in Surah Al-Hijr, or chapter 15, God says, إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى أَن يَكُونَ مَعَ السَّاجِدِينَ قَالَ يَا إِبْلِيسَ مَا لَكَ أَلَّا تَكُونَ مَعَ السَّاجِدِينَ قَالَ لَمْ أَكُنْ لِأَسْجُدَ لِبَشَرٍ خَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ مِنْ حَمَإٍ مَسْنُونٍ. But not Iblis, who refused to prostrate with the others. Allah asked, O Iblis, what is the matter with you that you did not join the others in prostration? He replied, It is not for me to prostrate to a human, you created from sounding clay molded from black mud. When God commanded all the angels to prostrate to Adam, they all did except one. That one is Satan, or Iblis. Iblis was the first one to exhibit the primordial sin, the most underrated sin in history, which is arrogance. Satan was the first racist. When God told him to prostrate to Adam, or essentially Adam is going to be his whole new purpose where he's going to revolve around and is going to be his work, Satan said, "No, I am better than Adam. You made me from fire. You made him from dirt." And that is the big mistake that Satan made. Never in history have we seen this behavior exhibited. The first one to exhibit arrogance, racism, and superiority complex is Satan. The expulsion, an unexpected curse. In the next ayat, from 34 to 35, Surah Al-Hijr, God says, فَقَالَ فَاخْرُجْ مِنْهَا فَإِنَّكَ رَجِيمٌ وَإِنَّ عَلَيْكَ اللَّعْنَةَ إِلَى يَوْمِ الدِّينِ. He said, "Then go thou forth from it, for thou art accursed, and the curse is upon thee until the day of judgment." God kicked Satan from his presence and cursed him until the day of judgment. Now what does that mean? Cursing Satan and kicking him out of his presence or out of his the place that he was in that point. There's different sayings in it, and it needs a whole different episode to digest. We can understand for now that because of Satan's arrogance, he was kicked from God's presence and was cursed because of it until the day of judgment. The promise, a forced prostration. In ayah 36 to 40 in Surah Al-Hijr, chapter 15, God says, قال ربي فانظرني إلى يوم يبعثون قال فإنك من المنظرين إلى يوم الوقت المعلوم قال ربي بما أغويتني لأزينن لهم في الأرض ولأغوينهم أجمعين إلا عبادك منهم المخلصين. Satan appealed, "My Lord, then delay my end until the day of their resurrection." Allah says, "You will be delayed until the appointed day." Satan responded, "My Lord, for allowing me to stray, I will surely tempt them on earth and mislead them altogether, except your sincere servants among them." After God cursed Satan and kicked him from his presence, Satan is forced to do exactly what God has told him to do, which is work around Adam and make him your new purpose. Satan was able to submit to God's command from the beginning and work and revolve around Adam and be rewarded for it in the day of judgment, or stay as an angel without being kicked from God's presence. But he refused, and that was a big mistake from Satan's side. You cannot say no to God. He knows what's best for you. He knows how you're going to live your life and how it should be lived. He knows your place in the universe. He knows your beginning, your future, and your end. When Satan refused, he was forced by his own will to do exactly what God told him to do. But this time he will be punished for it. But this time he is a loser. So Satan's new task or new purpose revolving and working around Adam is going to be a negative one, is going to be in misleading all of his descendants, Adam's descendants. This has many details that we can unpackage on what does that actually mean. And what would have happened if Satan submitted to God's command instead of refusing and then still having to do it, but this time is gonna get punished. Let me know which part do you want to explore. with that, I hope you paid attention to the most important part you heard, which is arrogance, the primordial sin that kicked Satan from heaven, from God's presence. And why is it so important for us to avoid it? It is intolerable to be arrogant in God's presence. Heaven itself, in the Quran, says it is created for those that are not arrogant and are not looking to be arrogant on earth. And even in the Hadith says that no one is going to enter heaven who has an itsy bitsy, who has a tiny bit of arrogance in his heart. I hope you paid attention to the most beneficial part you heard, and I hope you go to heaven.